I guess I am doing Black Canyon Road. Downhill on dirt or sand or gravel is really disconcerting for me. It's getting to be less so, but only on very easy stuff like this. I still don't feel confident enough to tackle downhill truck trails by myself. I've never had a, knock on wood, get off or anything bad happen on downhill, but that looks like fun. Just the feeling of not slowing down when I want to slow down it makes things psychologically more difficult. Because braking off pavement is a slightly dicier prospect. As the sun gets lower, I love the nice warm evening light it creates, which is why I was thinking it'd be better to go all the way down to the bottom and then come up, rather than go this way, because the sun would be behind me and I would get to enjoy that nice warm glow for the video and just for myself. Some other time, well, maybe I'll turn around and come back up at Sutherland Dam or something, depending on what time it is. I'm looking forward to bringing my friend Kelly on all these roads. She used to be a really experienced dirt rider when she was a kid, and in her earlier years. She just bought a brand new GSA, which is a taller, heavier, more robust version of my bike. Oh gosh, I hit the front brake. Don't do that. But she cannot get her feet down on that bike any more than I can on mine. But she's dealing with an 800-pound machine, and I am just astounded that she's able to maneuver it at slow speeds and in parking lots and backing it up and so forth, as well as she is. But I've just been waiting for her to get her more enduro-style boots. She has kind of racing street boots right now. And those are not great when you can't get your feet down, especially off-road. But she also has a fear of heights. And so a lot of these, as you can kind of see here, a lot of these dirt roads have these precipitous drop-offs like that. And for me, that's just cool. I like it. I like being up high. I like skydiving and so forth. But I think for Kelly, it might, give her some anxiety. So I have to figure out where to take her and how to get her used to these things, because the first time you introduce somebody to a sport or to a road matters. 11 months later, there are curves on Highland Valley Road or Mesa Grande or wherever that make me nervous, only because the people that took me through them the first time were going a little too fast, or they didn't warn me, or and so it can be really psychologically difficult to overcome those kinds of barriers. And not to mention on this road, not so much right here, but you'll probably see it elsewhere, it's not cambered well. It's crowned. It goes like this. And so that makes it really hard to ride right as you're supposed to and still go through these turns without feeling like you're going to get sucked off the edge of the cliff. What I would normally do here, not this late in the day, would be to take this down to either Sutherland Dam or all the way into Ramona, and then go over to Pine Creek. Take Pine Creek Road up from Pine Valley to Laguna. Take Sunrise over, head over to Descanso, and then maybe go up Boulder Creek. But I am a little sleepy. It's getting late. I don't want to do dirt in the dark. Bicyclists are the real MVPs, man. Especially in this heat. I've said this multiple times, to people and probably elsewhere, like videos and blogs and stuff, but I feel like such a wuss because, I'll be riding along like this, if it's like 90, 100 degrees, 110, whatever, and I'll be thinking, my gosh, it's miserable. I am so hot. Oh, poor fucking me. Oh, this is terrible. And then, and I'll be going like downhill. And then I'll come across a dude on a bike going uphill in the same heat under his own power. And I'm just thinking, okay, I don't have it too bad right now. This is okay. My hat is off to you, man. You can see I'm going much slower on this because A, downhill, and B, this is just like sugar. It's just sugar or salt. It's just very finely powdered dirt or sand or gravel or whatever it is, and it's slick. I don't want to go over the cliff. If it were this and, on a flat area, that'd be fine. I could practice sliding my rear wheel and braking and all that whatnot. But no. I am getting, gradually faster though. It's just a learning process. Confidence building. Remembering to use our rear brake instead of the front. Although this bike, in the mode that I have it in now, it does have front ABS. It just doesn't have rear ABS. It does have the ability to turn on rear ABS. I'm not sure about traction control. When I'm going through those washboard sections, I feel like there is traction control that's kind of cutting in and cutting out. So I need to RTFM and figure out what's going on there. But I really want to get Kelly on the dirt for a variety of reasons. And A, because it's fun. And B, because it's so beautiful. Some of the best views around are on these dirt roads because they go through, the canyons and the mountains, along the crests of mountains, and it's just spectacular. And not a lot of people come up here, so, it's kind of this private, secret thing. Well, not so private and secret, but you know what I mean. It's you were off the beaten path, basically. Another thing I don't like about the Sena 10C, she continued as if an hour or two had not passed. It doesn't break up the recordings into segments, and that's good and bad. On the good side, it's much easier to transfer into editing, but that is a very minor convenience compared to the potential loss of data. And I don't know how Sena handles an event like if the battery were to die right now, would I lose the entire video? Would it have enough common sense to write itself, to terminate the video properly? I assume, it's writing as we go. But if something unexpected happens and it can't correctly put the cap on that video, what happens to it? Did I just lose hours and hours of my video? That would suck. And so what I tend to do is manually stop and start the video every now and then to make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm going to do that right now. And we're back. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut out at Sutherland Dam because I'm getting pretty sleepy. It was a rough night last night. I have this neurological condition, and it sounds ridiculous. It's called Restless Leg Syndrome, and I actually laughed when I was at the doctor and got that diagnosis back in 1989, I think it was. But it's pure, sheer hell. And there's no way to describe it. You know, you can give a general idea. Like, you can say, imagine if you had an itch on your, something that felt like an itch on your nose, but it's on the inside of your muscles in your leg. And the only way you can get it to stop is to get up and walk around, or to contort yourself into these crazy weird positions and keep contorting yourself into different positions while you're trying to fall asleep. It's just not a good thing. And I have it really bad. My dad had it really bad for decades, and then he suddenly grew out of it. And I think he was in his 40s or 50s. I have not had that happen yet, unfortunately. It's all tied up with dopamine and other neurotransmitters. There's a psychological, psychosomatic component to it. Like, I can bring on symptoms just by thinking about it. And that's the worst, because every time I lie down, I'm terrified that it's going to happen, because for the last 30 years it has. You know, there's a 80% chance when I lie down, even if I'm taking the medications for it, that I'm going to have these symptoms happen. So it's really hard to just go to bed and relax, you know? And if I'm worried about them happening, which of course I am, they're much more likely to occur. Like, even just sitting here on the motorcycle, I could bring on an attack, no problem, real easy. Anytime I'm sitting still, particularly if I'm lying down, though, it's less awful if I'm sitting. Couple that with piriformis issues. I think my sciatic nerve runs through my piriformis muscle rather than around it. And so sitting on the seat or standing up for hours and hours, or doing anything else that causes stress on my lower back or my ass or my hips or my legs or whatever, the chances of me having a bad night go up exponentially. So there are medications for it. They work a lot of the time. Probably they work most of the time now. I've got things situated to the point where more nights than not, I'm not kept awake for hours and hours and hours. But I can tell just by sitting here that this saddle is not doing that any favors at all. So if you know somebody with restless leg syndrome, give them a hug. It is hellish and horrible, and they can't explain to you what it's like very accurately. If you also have it, if you suffer from this affliction, my heart goes out to you. I would not wish this on my worst enemy. Well, I might wish it on Trump. Let's leave politics out of this. It's beyond enduring. When it gets really bad, there were times, when I legitimately thought about ending my life because I was in so much, I can't say pain, it's not pain. I'd rather be in pain than experience these symptoms. But, the rest of the RLS was so bad. Get on the right fucking side of the road. That is why you ride right. I was talking about restless leg. I don't remember specifically what. Sun visor. Anyways, if you have restless leg, my heart goes out to you. It really irritates me when I see people doing that on roads like this. And I'm sure she doesn't know any better, just like I didn't. Or she wasn't paying attention or whatever. And so she drifted over to my side of the road. And, if we had met at a turn, at the apex of a turn as opposed to there, that could have ended very badly for me. Even though I'm not going real fast. I wasn't going fast when I had to get off on the GS in the sand, but I still fucked up my shoulder pretty good. I still have some pain, stiffness, and discomfort. Even though I didn't fracture it, I just kind of messed up the ligaments probably in that area. And that was not high speed. That was pretty slow. But I was also standing up at the time, and so I had farther to fall. Fortunately, the ground broke my fall. I do have an inner asshole that like wants to turn her around, chase her down, make her pull over and listen to me and tell her, you could seriously hurt somebody when you do that. Please don't do that. Please stay to the right side of the road. You have 4 wheels. You have no excuses not to hug that wall. I haven't been counterleaning. Riding street and riding dirt are so diametrically opposed in so many ways. It's brain confusing. These little washboards aren't bad. Okay, almost done. Hop on the pavement and head home. There's a truck trail just up ahead here that I did once. It's the one that I biffed it. It's right down there. I really want to do that again. I keep asking the cowboy. There's the entrance to it. Fuck, I just rode left. We're going to do that soon because it was a lot of fun. And it was like the 3rd time I've been off-road. So I didn't know what I was doing. I was on the FJ. No, I was on the GS. But I had street tires on, not dirt tires or, the 60/40s that I do now, the TKC 70s I had Anika 3s on. And while those are better than PR4s off-road, they're not off-road tires at all. So it was hard, and I was sliding around, and but it was still really, really fun. All right, yes. What F00? What the hell does that mean? My bike is telling me something I don't understand. Hang on a second. Temperature. Trip. What? Fuel? You say you have fuel. Okay, I'm almost out of gas. That gas gauge is fucked up. Can you see that? So, I may apparently run out of gas. That would not be a good time. So we're going to ride very conservatively. I wonder if that means like 0.1 gallons? Shit. Maybe the fuel pickup is at the back of the tank and we were going downhill, so I don't even know. Yeah, now it says it has 0.2. Alright, where's the nearest gas? Gas station near me. Great. I don't want to call Mom Smuggle. Not a fucking gas station. Okay, now we're at 0.4. Yeah, okay, so the sensor must... That's fucked up, though. The sensor's in the back. But the fuel gauge, I have no idea. I'm not used to having such a tiny little gas tank. And apparently such an inaccurate fucking gauge. It's ridiculous. Where's that go? now we're at 0.6 gallons. So I guess I should be able to get to the chairs okay. The chairs is what the club calls the gas station, Aramco in Santa Isabel, because it's the place where motorcycles go to fill up and then hang out. And so our BMW club bought some plastic patio chairs and put them there for people to enjoy, which is nice. See, now I'm up to 0.8 gallons of fuel. KTM, what is wrong with you? And thus concludes the dirt portion of my day. It's a cool dam. And now I have a whole gallon of fuel. I definitely like having lower tire pressure. Rich says he sometimes drops his down to 5 pounds. But he's running these really cool rim locks that keep the tube from spinning and shearing off his valve stems. There's so many things I want to buy for this bike, but again, we're back to the whole barely making ends meet thing. Just between you and me and the internet, my credit score has dropped 85 points in the last 6 months because of purchases I have made that involved opening new lines of credit, like motorcycles, 3 new motorcycles in a year. My balances have gone up because I gravely underestimated how much it would cost to live here in California, and I made a very stupid decision with my first apartment, which I'm just now moving out of. My rent was $2,700 a month, and in Michigan I was paying $700 a month for a house. The place that I'm moving into now is, I'm up to 1.5 gallons, for fuck's sake. The place I'm moving into is almost $1,000 a month less, so that's nice. It's $1,875 or something. So that'll help, but I have a long way to go to recover. $1.6 gallons. WTF. And shit, maybe that's not even right. It's a 3-gallon tank. I've gone 145 miles. There's no way it's got 1.8 gallons of fuel left. I don't like that. I need to get a tail rack and get a Rotex tank stuck on here. Says I have 2 gallons of fuel. So I have somewhere between 0.1 and 2.1 gallons of fuel. Fucking shit. Now, if I had done what the cowboy does coming down Black Canyon, he basically just turns off the bike and puts it in neutral and just coasts down. Or even if he doesn't power it off, he'll just stick it in neutral. I'd have more fuel. But I didn't, and I don't. $2.5. That is absolutely wrong. That's fucked up. It was really irritating. Not having any idea how much gas I have. Alright, so it's like being back on my CB500, where the only gas gauge is the trip odometer. So I'll have to treat it like that. 2.7. See how much gas I can fit in it. Yes. That's not a charitable thought.